Psalm 3. The background of this Psalm 3 is that David is facing one of the most painful moments of his life. His own son, Absalom, has staged a rebellion to overthrow him. The betrayal is just not political, but also it's personal. David, a man after God's heart, leaving Jerusalem barefoot, weeping. In 2 Samuel 15:30, we can see this. With his heart breaking under a father's grief and a king's shame. As David flees into the wilderness, he is cursed and insulted by Shimei. In 2 Samuel 16 chapter and 5 to 13 verses we can see this. Who throws stones at David and accuses him falsely. And David, instead of defending himself, he accepts the situation and it is under God's sovereignty. Psalm 3 is believed to be written during this dark exile, a prayer under pressure. So, if we go through verse by verse, from first verse to second verses, we can see that enemies rising against David, the crisis. Lord, how they have increased who trouble me. Many are they who rise up against me. Many are they who say of me, there is no help for him in God. We can read this in Bible, Psalm 3, 1, 2, 2 verses. David is surrounded with his enemies and enemies are multiplying, they are increasing. Betrayal and God's faithfulness also questioned. Not only physical danger, but spiritual attack. God has abandoned you. He is hearing from the people around him. So, in a similar way, in the Old Testament, if we see in the Job 2:9, the Job's wives tell him, curse God and die. Even Job's wife echoes a similar voice of despair. And in Luke 22 chapter also we can see 63 to 65 verses, Jesus is mocked and they say, tell us who hit you. Even the Son of God was insulted when he appeared weak. So being a believer, it doesn't shield us from suffering. It gives us someone to turn to in suffering. And from verses 3 to 4, it gives us the confidence. David, he says like, but you, O Lord, are a shield for me, my glory and the one who lifts my head. I cried to the Lord with my voice and he heard me from his holy hill. The turning point of this psalm is David shifts his focus from the problem, from enemies to God. And he says, God, you are my shield. You are my protection on every side. And he says, God, you are my glory. David lost his crown, but not his honor before God. And he says, God, you are my lifter of my head. David doesn't rely on his army or on his wisdom. He doesn't rely on his past victories, but he returns to the faithfulness of God. This is not confidence in self, not self confidence, but in God's confidence in God, presence and character. So in the New Testament also we can see Romans 8:31, if God is for us, who can be against us? In the third part we can see from verses 5 to 6 in Psalm 3, the calmness of David. I lay down and slept. And he says like, I lay down and slept. I woke for the Lord sustained me. I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people who have set themselves against me all around. Despite being hunted, David sleeps peacefully, a sign of deep trust on God. He wakes up because God sustained him, not because he had guards. This calmness is a supernatural peace, not ignorance of the threat. The faith on God doesn't remove our troubles, but it shifts our focus. to God. Isaiah 26:3 it says, "You will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you." So, in the last part, verse 7 to 8, salvation belongs to the Lord. Arise, O Lord, save me, O my God. David says, "For you have struck all my enemies on the cheekbone, you have broken the teeth of the ungodly. Salvation belongs to the Lord, your blessing is upon your people." David ends with a prayer of deliverance and a declaration of victory. God defeats his enemies, silences who are all talking against him. The final focus is God alone saves, and his people are blessed. So we can learn this like key lessons and applications from this Psalm 3 is crisis will come in our lives. We should not be surprised. Even the godliest people suffer betrayal and slander. And the second thing is like we need to shift our focus from enemies to God. But you, O Lord, can change your entire perspective. And in the third, we need to sleep in peace because God never sleeps. And in the fourth, victory is the Lord's. Final victory is the Lord's. Salvation belongs to the Lord is the anthem of every believer. So we need to see, are we in Psalm 3? Are we betrayed? Are we burdened? Falsely accused? Let David's prayer become our own prayer. In the name of Jesus.